Welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, two-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, all-pro record-breaking cornerback, and the last cornerback to intercept 50 interceptions during a 16-game season era. Man, Thursday night vibes, man, I'm so happy to be back, man. I'm glad to be back, man. How are y'all doing out there, man? Make sure y'all come in and join this live. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. As usual, per usual, the NFL Combine is going on. Man, that Combine, let me tell you. Man, they bring a lot of people in and they're trying to figure it out. How they figure it out, I don't know. Let's bring on my codes for the night. 2-3 Dries, how are we doing tonight, brother?
Let's go. What's up?
Doing? Yes, man, Philly's on.
Do the Combine mean the new season has started? Is this the start of the new season or not yet?
The official start of the new season is March 1st, if I'm correct. How we doing out there? Baby girl in the chat, Joanna, always showing up, showing live. You know what I mean? How we doing?
What's up, Joanna?
Yeah, man. So, man, NFL Combine, man. Well, let's get this thing started, man. If y'all haven't seen, man, Aaron Glenn, the New York Jets head coach, what did they go? 2 for 13, two wins, 13 losses, 1 win, 15 losses, something like that, right? Something crazy. Only 1 win, I think, right? But he's falling asleep at the Combine. And if he don't know, his job is on the line. He can't afford to be falling asleep at the Combine. That is just wild and crazy, man, to see your head coach, man, and when your team is at bottom of the barrel bad, man, falling asleep at the Combine. But hey, he woke up like a player. Back in his playing days, like, oh, anybody see me? He was alert, baby.
Man, he should be the one that's wild as the weight, man. Seeing everything that's going on because everything's open at the Jets. He need every single position, so he need to have all odds in the game.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. On the night episode, man, we're gonna talk about the Combine. Fernando Mendoza. We'll talk about Shador a little bit as well. Malik Willis, the hot man on the free agent market, right? Then we have to talk about Coach Prime as well. Oh, Coach Prime got a lot going on out there in Colorado, man. So y'all sit back, enjoy the ride, man. Y'all have some fun, man. Y'all ask some questions in the chat. Y'all know we respond back, and y'all let us know how do y'all feel about the draft. And what do y'all think about the potential number 1 pick? And as we get into this segment, man, and man, you know what, man? Like I was watching, man, just watching from last year's Combine to this year's Combine, man. It's not, the talent doesn't look like it's talented, from my perspective. And as we seen, man, we haven't seen many rookies be that successful or contribute to their team like a number 1 pick should. From this past draft. But I don't know, man. It just looks like the unthinkable is happening to the Combine in the NFL draft. It's a shortage of talent leaving college for the NFL draft, as well as enough talent entering the draft for teams to sustain some success, right? I think I saw this trend, like I said, I saw this trend starting to take place during last year's draft. Only a handful of rookies had a successful campaign in the 2025 NFL season. And Cam Ward, he was on a horrible team and he struggled, right? That was one of the top rookies who was drafted with the number 1 pick. And he had high expectations, right? But he was on a terrible team, and he struggled. He couldn't have any success on the Tennessee Titans. Then we have Jackson Dart, another number 1 pick. Had a little bit success, but still wasn't that convincing, right? Then we got Shador, man. Shador was in a whole other type of battle, not just being able to compete for the starting job. He was in a battle of his last name and other things that didn't have to do with football. Then you have Abdul Carter. It was up and down season, right? Wasn't as effective. He was more of a speed rush guy. He didn't get the job done that well. And everyone's looking forward to their sophomore season. Then you have Ashton Genty, then Dylan Gabriel, Tyler Shuck, all these rookies, they didn't really stamp their rookie season, right? A little bit, they had success. Some players had success here and there. And then, like we predicted, if you don't remember, Dries, we predicted the rookies.
Yeah, I remember.
We predicted, and I think you picked Tyler Warren, and I chose Colston Loveland, right?
Yeah.
I chose Colston Loveland. They're both tight ends, not the sexy position that everyone jumps out at, right? But we chose correctly. Say what needs to be said. We know what we're doing over here. You know what I mean? So we picked those rookies, and they both had impressive rookie campaigns. I think Tyler Warren, he went down with an injury, if I remember correctly, right? Then we had Tech McMillan, right? T-Mac.
Right.
I was trying to say it right. Tech McMillan, T-Mac, as well as Carson Schweswinger, say his name. Excuse me if I'm butchering his name. Linebacker for the Colorado, but linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. He led the rookie class in production, right? He had over 150.
Yeah, he was out there balling.
Crazy, you know what I mean? But the production, the lack of players entering the NFL, man, the lack of talent is just all around the place, right? So let's check out this article from the Kansas City Chiefs general manager talking about what he sees in NFL and how they're processing and attacking this draft. And it says, Chief General Manager Brett Veach said now that the NCAA allows players to make money off their names, images, and likeness, players aren't entering the draft because of the money they can make in college. Veach and the Chiefs already had an version of their draft board set before the deadline for players to enter the draft. And a large portion of the Chiefs' top prospects decided to stay in college. When the official decision date of the underclassmen came, I believe we moved over 125 guys off of our board that we had top 75, top 100, Veach said. So if it really impacts, it's really impacts, I think. So it really impacts, I think, the draft, and then you're getting older prospects as you go on. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, and I think it's something we have to adapt to. Right. So, like I said, man,
that's a lot of people.
That is a huge amount of prospects, that could have potentially entered the draft and not entering the draft no more. So it makes things for coaches and general managers in the NFL draft. It moves things around a lot, man. It's kind of like, process of elimination, if you say, right? Got to go through the process of elimination in these type of drafts, starting from last season. Like he said, when the NCAA allowed players to make money off their name, images, and likeness. And so how do these teams move forward? And now we got Fernando Mendoza. He wasn't at the top of anyone's list before the start of the college football season this past year. Now all of a sudden, he played his way to potentially being the number one pick. Clap it up for Fernando Mendoza, Florida boy.
For sure.
Hey, he did that, man. He transferred from Cal University to the University of Indiana in one season, played his tail off, right? And it wasn't the sexy athleticism that we're used to seeing, the dual threat quarterback. He was just effective and efficient. He played well for the Indiana Hoosiers, and they won the national championship as a junior. So he coming out as a junior and potentially going to be the number one draft pick, right? The Raiders are on the clock. The Raiders are on the clock. Are they going to take Fernando Mendoza? At least he's played his way in the conversation. I don't see any other opportunities or any other prospects that would be warranted the number one pick. So I don't know,
My question goes.
Go ahead.
No, before we get to Fernando Mendoza, I had a question for you, like for the overall combine process. Like, how how do you feel about the combine process? Do you feel like you could find real talent in the combine? Because like from me, from like outside looking in, I feel like the meetings and all that stuff. When you actually sit down and talk with a person, you found out more than the actual on the field things. Because I know some people that could do the drills perfectly fine. They look like the greatest talent, but once you put them on the field in the mix, they like lost. So
Yeah. I think it's just a process where you have to have a system, right? When you enter into business, right? And
mhm,
this is the business plan. This is a part of the business plan to figure out a way to evaluate these athletes and get a better look and a better understanding of them. You know what I mean? Of
yeah,
us. And yes, you can figure out some things you may notice or see um, something you may have not noticed from just watching and evaluating or visiting with a player, going to see them on at their school or on campus, right? But at the end of the day, you can't really tell from a combine, from all of these drills, a 40 time, interviews, how well a player is going to play on a football field. So it's just an excuse and a system, like a weeding out process for the NFL to uh, decide basically if they want to bash a player, talk down on a player, blackball a player, whatever you want to call it. But
mhm,
you can go to the NFL Combine and you can make your stock go through the roof. Like I've seen a linebacker back in the day. His name was Adam Arch. I can't remember his say his last name correctly right off the rip. But he was a freak of nature. He tested well, man, at the combine. I mean, he sprinted well. He ran like a 4.3 40 as a free safety.
mhm,
He could bench press, he could jump, but he couldn't those attributes couldn't translate to the field. So, like you're saying, it's just a weeding out process for these businessmen or these I don't know, these people that's in power, that's a position of power to make the decisions and just put a lot of ranking on the name. Just have something to say. Because at
yeah,
the end of the day, man, there's only so much you can tell from the combine. But I mean, if you look at it, man, it's a bunch of mostly African American men, right? Mostly minority men on the
mhm.
field, just being evaluated. It just looks like one big, rich, uh, pick your people
Pick 'em.
type thing. You know what I mean? Don't make me say it. You know what I mean? So
Man, they out there measuring muscles, measuring fingertips and arm lengths, and like I like this one right here.
exactly. I like that one. I like how long his arms is. That one. Tell him to come over here, man, and talk to me, man. So it's that type of process, man. We talk about it. We can talk about it in a negative way. We can talk about it in a positive way. But at the end of the day, it's a blessing, right? It's a blessing
Right.
for a lot of us athletes coming from where we come from, man. So we're just having fun with the process of the NFL combine. But some of those drills and activities they're doing out there really doesn't make any sense, man. It's get wild out there for sure. But back to Mendoza, man. But what makes me side eye Mendoza, man, or what makes me side eye this pick, even though it's probably the best option and only option, if this were last year's draft, scouts and general managers put Fernando Mendoza as the number 3 quarterback prospect behind Cam Ward and Jackson Dart. So it's just putting things in perspective for everyone. If Cam Ward and Jackson Dart was in this draft, Fernando Mendoza wouldn't have been the first pick, right? And if you go back to last year's draft, it was a lot of talking, a lot of rumors going around, and a lot being said about the prospects in that draft. And Cam Ward was the only one that was really warranted the number 1 top 10 overall pick as far as quarterbacks go. Now, if you fast forward to this draft, now you're saying Fernando Mendoza would have been the number 3 pick in last year's draft. Man, I don't know, man. It's getting worse and worse. You see what I'm saying? It's getting worse and worse. It's not getting any better. So Now we have this quarterback whisperer, Dan Orlovsky. If y'all haven't heard of him, he's on ESPN. Right, he does a breakdown on quarterbacks. Right, he does a very good job of breaking down play-by-play plays for the quarterbacks that's in the NFL, players that's entering the NFL, entering the NFL draft as well. And he broke down Fernando Mendoza. He went over all of his game film, and he gave a pretty good evaluation of Fernando Mendoza. And he's pretty much telling you the type of quarterback that you're going to get when you draft him. Some may look at it as good, some may look at it as bad, but we'll talk about it. Let's check it out.
Tweeted out, studying the first 5 games of Mendoza's tape, and it's not what I expected so far. Yeah. Explain.
Yeah, so I'm through 8 games now, and through 8 games, you see good, but there's a lot of underwhelming. I think there's a lot when you watch Mendoza's tape through 8 games, not all the way through, and I understand that his season finishes strong, but there's not a ton of big-time throws. There's a lot of clean pockets. There's a ton of RPOs and back shoulder fades, a ton of them, RPOs and back shoulder fades. And then there's moments where you see like, okay, that first read's not there. He's spooked with his feet, and he becomes a runner unnecessarily. If you take away the RPOs and then those back shoulder fades, there's just not a ton of balls over the middle of the field. Very good decisions. I think that's a superpower is he avoids negative plays. But you're looking at a guy that's saying first pick, and I think through 8 games, Ty Simpson's tape from Alabama through the first 8 games of the season, I think is significantly more impressive than Fernando Mendoza's.
Okay, really quick, he did play for Cal the year before, so maybe taking a few games to get acclimated to Kirk.
And I just haven't watched the back half of the season yet. I just haven't gotten to those.
Okay, so before I go to Lewis here and Stephen A., do you still think he is the clear-cut #1 overall pick?
I'm not there, and that's through half of the season or so. I'm just not there.
Not there yet as the #1 pick. Then who else would you pick as the #1 pick if you're not picking Fernando Mendoza? Just led his team in one season to the national championship. He was the Heisman Trophy winner. I don't see anyone else afforded or warranted the #1 pick if it's not Fernando Mendoza. The best thing I like about Fernando Mendoza, when you look at his play or you evaluate his tape, you look at his stats from the time that he entered the college ranks at the University of Cal, right? He's gotten better and better each year, each season. 2 seasons at the University of Cal, then his last season, which is his 3rd season, his junior season at the University of Indiana. He's gotten better and better. And this season, or this past season, oh man, 41 touchdowns, and I think it was about 6 interceptions. So he isn't turning the ball over. That's the recipe to winning, not turning the ball over. Now, like Dan Orlovsky said, he's seen a lot, a lot of outside throws, back shoulder fades, not a ton of throws over the middle. Now, when you don't see a ton of throws over the middle, that usually means that the quarterback isn't too comfortable making decisions or figuring out or taking those chances in the middle of the field where it's a lot of clutter, a lot of players running across, and a lot of confusion. But with the right team, the right system, that isn't a problem at all. You know what I mean? But the best attribute is not turning the ball over. That is the best attribute.
My thing is no other choice for the Raiders. Like, who else they gonna go with? I mean, they need a quarterback. They knew that's the #1 problem right now. So I feel like it's like we have to go with Mendoza because there's no other really big difference maker in the draft right now for them to be like, oh yeah, we want him instead. So it's either like you trade back and you wait to get another quarterback, or you got to make that decision.
Like I said, Ty Simpson. But the other thing is, man, you have Malik Willis, man, and Malik Willis, he's headed for free agency. I think he is the best other option besides going into the draft and taking a chance on quarterbacks in the draft who's not proven, as well as Malik Willis. He's not proven, but he shows some potential. And, I think he's one of those players that ended up in the wrong program. That was just a bad team and wasn't able to show his talents, man. So I don't know. Like you said, what choice does the Oakland Raiders have with Clint Kubiak, the new head coach coming from the Seattle Seahawks? He wants to start off with this team with the new quarterback established. And I don't think you have a choice but to take Fernando Mendoza unless you're going to plan just tank the season. Just plan on taking the season. And you don't see that in NFL. You don't really see people tanking it in the season. So this isn't basketball. You got to go with it. You got to take it and deal with the consequences.
And that's what you said. Well, Malik Willis, they end up like signing him a free agency and like getting somebody else or moving back to get more capital. Like they might can trade that number 1 spot for 2 number 1 picks, maybe. I don't know. They make a move like that too.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But Fernando Mendoza, he doesn't go past the number 2 pick. You know, if the Raiders doesn't take him, the New York Jets definitely will take him with the number 2 pick. So Fernando Mendoza, he's sitting in a very good position right now, and it's guaranteed that he doesn't go past the number 2 pick. 2 teams that dreadfully, I mean, horribly need a quarterback. Bad, man. Just to make give the fans some hope, right? Give people that are supporting their team and a season ticket holder, give them some hope by drafting somebody or putting the fresh new face at the quarterback position, you know? But you know, last year we seen players not choosing not to throw at the combine, right? We seen Shedeur Sanders choose not to throw at the combine, and he got a lot of slack. They, you know, everybody kept the narrative going about, you know, his flashiness, his him being unprepared for meetings, things like that. And, you know, ultimately him not throwing at the combine turned around and was a bad look for Shedeur Sanders. Why was a bad look for Shedeur Sanders? We don't know. You know, there are tons of people who don't throw at the combine. And Fernando Mendoza is doing what's smart, choosing not to throw at the NFL combine. And he's not throwing there because the environment is under the NFL's control. Now, when you have the Heisman Trophy winner choosing not to throw at the combine, it's acceptable. But when you got Shedeur Sanders, flashy, confident, and intelligent, it's a big deal.
Right.
Why is that, man? Why is that, man? Why is that? So we say expert weighs in. Expert weigh in on Mendoza's decision not to throw at the NFL combine. At the combine, you're throwing to different receivers. It's a whole different thing, said top prospect Fernando Mendoza. And I want to make sure I give my guys the best chance. I want to throw at pro day with my guys, with my running backs, and be there with my boys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's respectable. I just wish everybody got treated the same. I just wish everybody got treated the same when they decide to make that same exact move. Because
respectfully, you know.
Because sometimes people make that decision. It's like they did the worst thing in the world, but that's literally a good move, man. You know he's going 1 or 2 at least. So why not help his boy shine?
Right. Hold on one second. Yeah, respectfully, you know what I mean? Why not give your boys a chance to sign? That's who been rolling with you. That's who been doing the thing with you. Why not? You know? So hold on one second.
Yeah, because he already submitted his spot. We know he going no later than 2, honestly. Like it'll be a surprise. It'd probably be more shocking than Shedeur if he don't go in the first 2 picks.
Right.
So ain't no point of him throwing at the draft for real. I mean at the combine. My fault. There's no point of him throwing at the combine.
All right. Hold on one second. How we doing out there, chat?
My man gonna say Brady was the check down king without Randy Moss. Are you trying to say Brady and Mendoza the same? Because somebody called Mendoza a check down king. Then what it say? Motivated, dedicated 98. Talking about Brady was a check down king without Randy Moss. Just move the chains and don't turn the ball over.
Y'all trying to get me started. Y'all talk about my man?
Is that a comparison right there?
Brady was to get it done, man. That's what y'all jealous of my boy Brady, man. So But I think Fernando Mendoza is a Tom Brady type of player, right? I think Fernando Mendoza, he can replicate a Tom Brady, meaning, he is effective because he doesn't turn the football over. But like I said, going back to the article, let me get back to this article. At the combine, you're throwing to your different receivers. It's a whole different thing, said top prospect Fernando Mendoza. And I want to make sure I give my guys the best chance. I want to throw at pro day with my guys, with my running backs, and with my boys. Yes, Mendoza. Yes, Mendoza. But when Shedeur Sanders decided he didn't want to throw at the combine, and he wanted to do what was best for his future, bring attention to his players, his running back, his wide receiver. The critics created a narrative so bad, and ultimately it drove his stock down. If it didn't drive his stock down if it wasn't just from the critics, I think the critics, they made head coaches, they made general managers, they made people that was responsible for making these picks feel a certain way, if they wasn't already feeling a certain way. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of attention. People don't like to see players that are flashy and confident, right? Because they feel like they can't control you and you won't listen to them. You basically uncoachable when you're walking around as confident as a guy like Shedeur Sanders. That's the narrative they create. And then when they get to know you, they change it. But until then, if you're not doing things that the way they're used to seeing things being done, the way they want things to be done, they're able to control the narrative on a guy like Shedeur Sanders because he didn't win the Heisman Trophy, because he ended up not being a top 10 draft pick, because they knew that they was going to make him 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round type of prospect, right? So they was able to control those narratives and put those hot takes and leak messages out there about Shedeur Sanders because they knew what the plan was. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, Fernando Mendoza, he doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about that.
He might start getting praised for not throwing at the combine. Someone look how unselfish he is. He want to put his teammates and put them in a great position. He's a great natural leader. That's why he should be #1 pick. He's going to get praised for it.
He might end up getting the sponsor for being unselfish, right? Hey, man, this is the most unselfish guy I ever seen, man. He's putting his future in jeopardy and taking a chance on his future by making sure he show his teammates love and bring the exposure to his teammates, because that's the type of player he is. He isn't a selfish guy. It's not about him. He's not an I person. Yeah, exactly. You can see it now, man. It's funny out here. But Shedeur still gonna do his thing, man. And he's in a battle, man. Look like they're gonna make, I don't know, Shedeur Sanders seem like he's in a battle because there ain't no way you give that job to Deshaun Watson, man. But ultimately, moving forward to next year's draft, I still see a lack of superstar talent because of quarterback development. If the quarterback development doesn't get corrected, starting from Pee-wee football, Optimist, high school, college, things are going to continue to get worse and worse and look ugly and uglier heading into the NFL draft. Remember, if scouts and general managers are saying Fernando Mendoza would have been the #3 top-ranked quarterback coming into last year's draft behind Cam Ward and Jackson Dart, you should understand what's going on here.
When you talk about
get what you can get out here, you know. Go ahead.
When you talk about quarterback development, are you saying that the quarterback should be able to come in and fit any system that the coach has for him? Because when I was talking to Charles Woodson, y'all want to go to my page on 23 Dries on Instagram, ask Charles Woodson about Mendoza. He was saying that the coaches should cater more to the player that's coming in. With whatever Mendoza like to do, you cater more to Mendoza. So how do you feel? Do you feel like that quarterback should come fit whatever that coach is doing, or should they cater the system around that quarterback that they draft or whoever they're trying to build up?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. When I talk about quarterback development, I'm talking about the basics the basics of quarterback, right? Being able to take a snap from under the center, being able to drop back and make sure you can do the 3-step drop, making sure you can do the 5-step drop efficiently, making sure you can run RPOs, right? Making sure you can make the basic type of reads, those type of things, right? And ultimately, first, before you become this talented gunslinging quarterback that can throw sidearm and make all the throws, learn the basic way to throw, learn the fundamental ways to throwing the football. And that's what I basically mean by quarterback fundamentals. And then you progress from there, right? You keep growing and you keep getting better at your fundamentals and advanced fundamentals, right? But as far as systems and being able to fit, and so I think that's a two-way street. I think the team needs to help the system fit the player, and also the player has to be able to adapt or do some things in that system well. You know what I'm trying to say? So in any system, a good quarterback should be able to be successful, basically, and period. So, at the end of the day, if you put Fernando Mendoza in any of these systems, I think he's the type of quarterback that is going to be successful because he is very effective and he doesn't create or doesn't cause too many turnovers. That is the key recipe to success in any system, any quarterback. Now you have exceptions to the rule. You have the Patrick Mahomes and the Josh Allens and things like that. But yeah, Fernando Mendoza, man, he's definitely a basic player, but a basic player is an effective, good player. So don't take the wording wrong and, thinking a basic player is not the type of player you want, All
right.
So, yeah. So repeat that question, how you said it, from Charles Woodson. How did you ask me that question?
I asked him about Mendoza being the number 1 pick, and he was saying if the coaches build around the quarterback, saying like they take the plays that he build a system around him instead of like making that quarterback fit his system, they feel like the quarterback will be better off that way.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah. So yeah, you have to build you just have to build around the good attributes that the quarterback brings to the table, and put him in a good position to succeed because of his talents, right? And you always want to put things in place around your player's talent, period. So that's always a given. But like I said, it's vice versa. It's a two-way street. And the quarterback has to definitely be able to adapt and do things that the coach needs you to do in that system that you may not be comfortable. So it's always a two-way street. But at the end of the day, it's hard these days for quarterbacks who aren't dual threats. And that's where this league is moving to, because drafting the offensive lineman with the top pick isn't as sexy as drafting a wide receiver or quarterback, the premier type of positions. You know what I mean? So quarterbacks these days, they need to be athletic. They need to be able to get out of the pocket and run because teams are not investing into the offensive line, right?
Yeah,
so if the Raiders draft,
No, I was gonna say, and these DNs running 4.6s, 4.5s at DN.
Exactly.
They coming.
The quarterbacks that aren't dual threat, they running 5 flat. So But if the Raiders draft Mendoza, man, he will have a hard time in the beginning trying to have any success. Unless Clint Kubiak, man, can bring a new flavor, new system, and have some success. But they're going to have to start off being physical and running the football. If he bring that same system that he had over there with the Raiders, and he can somehow get a quarter of the players he had over there, man, they'll be all right. They'll be all right, So we're going to see, man. But that's if the Raiders take Fernando Mendoza with the number 1 pick. And if they do, hopefully he has some time to grow, But like we say, I don't think the Raiders have a choice. I don't think the Raiders have a choice.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just hard to disagree with taking Fernando when you look at all the other options out there. He's going to be successful, though. He's going to be successful. I'm with Fernando, man. He's a Florida boy, so we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see how this goes, man. So coming up, man, like we was talking about, Malik Willis. Malik Willis, man. The top free agent and heading into free agency. We got Malik Willis.
He's turning some heads, right,
man. Only off of a couple games, right? But the difference in what they see in Malik Willis is exactly what we've been talking about: the athleticism, the arm strength, the potential he's had. Man, he has thrown, I think, 89 passes or less in 2 games. This season. What is it? In 2 seasons? I'm sorry. 89 passes or less, something like that. In 2
season, yeah.
There's not much film on him, period. When he was in Tennessee, he struggled and he didn't get much of an opportunity to showcase his talent and things like that. But where does Malik Willis land? What team will pull the trigger and take a chance on this unproven quarterback heading into his 5th season? Because it's going to cost someone, whoever decides to try to take a chance on Malik Willis. Is it going to be the New York Jets? Las Vegas Raiders? Miami Dolphins? Those are the teams that really need a quarterback in play like yesterday. Those are the teams that are desperately desperate for quality quarterback play, right? Then you got teams like Pittsburgh, Indianapolis Colts, and the Minnesota Vikings. They all have situations at quarterback, but they're trying to make the best of that situation. They would love to upgrade at that position, So I don't know, man. It's going to get very interesting coming free agency up in March. I think it's March 1st, and we're going to see, man, who's going to decide to pull the trigger on Malik Willis, man. But it's going to be interesting.
Cardinals another team as well.
Cardinals another team as well.
They done with Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that man, it's gonna be it's gonna be a bunch of recycled quarterbacks going around, man, and a bunch of frustrated coaches trying to figure out how to win, but they can't because they still dealing with the same quarterbacks who have the same winning mentality as they did before, and that's not winning much at all.
Man, I'm surprised.
Man, it's so pitiful out here, man, to think about these quarterbacks. And
I was going to say, it's so surprising at the market for Malik Willis, like how it is right now. It's like a year ago, you wouldn't think Malik Willis would ever be a starter again. But now, after this season, he got in the game twice because Jordan Love was hurt. Now it's like, oh, he's the number 1 free agent available. I'm like, just a year ago, you thought he was never going to play again in the NFL. So it's crazy of what's available and the needs of the teams that is going to put him in a position to actually give himself another shot. So it's going to be interesting to see where he go and see if he can really take advantage of the next opportunity.
Yeah,
a lot of people
it's like Tom Brady, man. Hey, nobody was thinking about Tom. He was the 6th round draft pick. Bill Belichick put him in the game. Everyone's like, who is this Tom Brady guy? And then, that what makes the NFL exciting, man. Sometimes you don't really understand or know a player. Maybe the player has to mature. It could be a whole bunch of different things going on that no one knows. And just the player decides to, mature and get it right. But, hey, he did things at the right time. But it's hard to decipher, quarterbacks that's been in Malik Willis situation, right? If they are ready to go through this long, grueling season, can you play at a high level consistently for 17, 18, 19, 20 games, however many games that comes about, right? And just having the skills and the talent alone isn't enough to be successful in the NFL. So Malik Willis, he has a long road ahead of him as soon as that team decides to choose him as their number 1 quarterback. Yes, you could come out hot and play 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games and look wonderful. But that isn't successful just playing a quarter of the season, halfway through the season at a high level, and then the rest of the season not so great. You understand? So
and
that's what I want to have. That's what I want. Looking forward to seeing from Malik Willis. How long can he sustain playing at a high level and showing all those different talents he did. Because he couldn't do it at Tennessee, man. He couldn't figure it out in Tennessee.
Another thing, when they got in Green Bay, they didn't know what to expect, so they didn't have a game plan for what he's going to do because they didn't know. But now it's going to be teams literally game planning for you, scheming for you because you the guy. So that's a big difference as well.
That's always an option. That's always a thing that goes on in the NFL. You see a quarterback or running back or wide receiver, they come into the game and they have an awesome game, 1 or 2 games, and no one realizes that this player or this situation is new to the opposing team, so it's catching them off guard. It's catching them by surprise. So the next team that they get ready to face, that team is prepared. They have designed plays for their weaknesses and for their strengths to attack the offense or the new player that they wasn't used to. And then you see that real player come out. They aren't as successful as they was when the preparation wasn't there against them. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, like you said, man, there's so many avenues that Malik Willis has to overcome and to be successful in the NFL. And yeah, we just have to wait and see. It's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard to finish strong for 18, 19 weeks, man. Mentally, physically, so many things going on. But if there was one team that I would love to get Malik Willis, man, that would be the Miami Dolphins. I want the Miami Dolphins to have a solidified quarterback, and this quarterback remains the quarterback and is successful for them for years to come, and cut this foolishness out that's been going on for the past 20 so years down here in Miami, and let Miami just have something good going on, and not just one year like that fake Tua miss that he faked everybody with. But yeah, man. So we'll see, man. We'll see how the draft is going to turn out, as well as free agency, man. It's going to get interesting. And now, man, next story, or the last segment and story of the night, man. Whew, Coach Prime in Colorado. What is going on in Colorado? Sounds like trouble in paradise. Let me tell you, Coach Prime is going to need a miracle for this team to have a winning season this year or have any success at all. He's going to need a miracle, especially after what we watched and witnessed last season, man.
It can't get no worse than last season, can it?
The way things are going now, man, it's looking like it's heading in the same direction, man.
Oh, man.
And we all knew it would be tough, man. We all knew it would be tough for Coach Prime to adjust once Shedeur Sanders, his son, his college eligibility was up, along with Travis Hunter, who has been with him pretty much his whole coaching career, right? And Shedeur is probably the reason why he started coaching along with Shiloh Sanders and Junior, you know. But what I'm seeing coming out of Colorado's camp and the thing that's transpiring for this team, the players, the coaches, man, I couldn't expect things to be falling apart the way it is, you know. Either it's falling apart or this is a weeding out process for change for the better. I'm hoping for the best. But if you didn't know, or if you hadn't heard, Warren Sapp no longer on Deion Sanders' Colorado coaching staff. It's heartbreaking to me. Colorado University Athletics thanks Warren for his contributions to the football program over the last 2 seasons and for his commitment to our student athletes. The statement reads, Sapp's departure comes days after defensive coordinator Robert Livingston left for the NFL and linebackers coach Chris Marv was promoted. Defensive line coach Damata Pico also exited for the NFL earlier this off-season. Man, coaches leaving, players leaving, hitting the transfer portal. Top players at that. Jordan Seaton, he's the anchor of the offensive line. I mean,
What's the
What
plan?
can
Like,
you expect
yeah.
from this season? I mean, what can you expect? I mean, he was at the bottom of the recruiting class for the 2026 recruiting, college season and things like that. It's just nothing is heading in the right direction. But this could be a good sign. Like I said, if this is a weeding out process or a rebuilding process, all right, I'm all for it. But if there is drama and smoke in the air and people are deciding to leave because of what they're dealing with and what and the atmosphere, man, that's not a good sign. And I don't think Coach Warren Sapp was fired. I think he decided to walk away from the situation and decide that wasn't the opportunity he wanted and pursue other avenues, man. And for Warren Sapp to do that, man, it took a lot, man. It took a lot for Warren Sapp to do that, man. But what can be possibly going on?
I mean, the other coaches, I mean, they had NFL opportunities, so that's kind of explainable. They probably want to up their resume, go to NFL, and that's what they always wanted to do. But with Warren Sapp just resigning, that's a question mark right there. What makes them want to just like, I don't want to be here next year? That's the real question right there.
That's the real question, man. And I think, yeah, man, I don't know how Coach Prime moves forward, man, and how he sees things. And, sometimes you got to self-reflect and self-evaluate sometimes to get to the best you sometimes, right, in life. And that's what I do on a daily basis. I like to self-reflect and go over things and situations I've been through on a daily basis so I can continue to get better and learn from my mistakes. And I think that's what needs to go on, man, a lot of self-reflecting, man. And, yeah, because Warren Sapp, man, he was the intensity in that coaching staff. He was, he was that coach that didn't mind, putting it all on the line for his players and bringing that energy and that intensity, that passion that they needed. And it's sad for me to see Coach Sapp leave because I know that he does nothing but mean the best when he comes into interaction with kids and in a coaching type of environment as well, man. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I knew it would be tough, man. I knew it would be tough when Shadua left, man. But got to get some players, man. Got to get some players.
I got a theory. I got a theory why Warren Sapp left now. It's coming to me. I got a theory. So the defensive coordinator left to go to the Denver Broncos, right? Warren Sapp was like, oh, I could be the defensive coordinator. Coach Prime was like, nah, I don't think you should be defensive coordinator. I got somebody else in mind. He like, damn, I can't be defensive coordinator. I don't think I should be here next year. That could be a result right there.
I think you hit it right on the button, Drees. I think you hit it right
there. He's like, man, I'm the man for the job. And Coach Prime probably like,
any coach that is coaching as a position coach, their main goal is to continue to move up in progress. So the next opportunity after position coach is to be the defensive coordinator. So Warren Sapp, seeing that Robert Livingston was leaving for another position in the NFL, Warren Sapp 100% thought that was his opportunity. He made all the sacrifices. He did what he needed to do. He showed and he proved. And now this is the right time to give him the opportunity to be the defensive coordinator. And Coach Prime chose to go another direction. And ultimately, I think you're right, Drees. I think this is what happened. And man, Coach Prime lost a good quality coach. And I'm not going to say that, yes, that just Coach Prime is wrong not giving Coach Sapp the defensive coordinator job. No, sometimes you have to stand your ground, right? Like if that's the case and Coach Prime stood his ground and didn't give him the job, because where's your resume? Where is your credentials that show that you can handle this job, right? Because my job is on the line. I have a lot of eyes on me. My boss man needs me to produce, and I don't have time to play around and play the guessing game if you can get the job done. I have to find someone who is well equipped and pretty much understands the job and get it done. So yeah, man, it sounds like that's what happened with Warren Sapp. I just hope as brothers, as Hall of Fame brothers, man, they at least had a talk about it. And you can disagree. I mean, you can agree to disagree. And as long as we talked about it and we both understand each other's side and where we come from. But, as men, we can have a talk and not agree, but still be on good terms. And that's what I hope happened with Coach Prime and Coach Warren Sapp. Oh, excuse me, though. I hope they talked it out like men and there's no hard feelings, right? At the end of the day, this is just business. Don't take anything personal, but you have to take it personal because you're the person that is responsible for promoting me and I want this job, right? I'm working my tail off and I'm proving you. And I know that's how Coach Sapp feel, but on Coach Prime hand, he has to make the best decision that he feels is right for the University of Colorado and his coaching and his football team. And we don't know. This is all speculation. We don't know exactly what happened. And obviously more things will come out. But, man, you hate to see situations like this where, players like Deion Sanders or Coach Prime, players and coaches like Coach Prime, as well as players and coaches like Coach Sapp, basically don't work out together, man. So, man, we'll see where these things go, man. And yeah, man, that's all we got for tonight, man. And we'll get back with y'all this weekend, man, and turn it up, man. And Leonard Fournette, man, he was supposed to come on, man, and we didn't get him closed out. So we'll see if he's gonna come on next week, man. But yeah, it's the off season. We got to get some players on here. We got to talk about, the experiences in the NFL and how they see things, right? Because I see it, all I can do. I must have come from a great era of great football play because what I see now, unless I always saw that I just was narrow-minded to the things that was around me, and it was always terrible. But we'll get to the bottom of it.
Man, I don't think that same hunger is there, man. You talk about the college kids not leaving college because they're making more money in college than they would their rookie season. So like the hunger to be in the NFL, that drive, they're like, I never had nothing. I gotta go make it. I gotta go get it. It ain't there no more. It's like, what you gonna do for me? It's more so. It's like, what you gonna do for me? Like, you need me more than I need you. So it's more entitled.
You're supposed to give me this. I'm supposed to be here. You owe me this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that may have a lot to do with it as well. Like, we used to want to get to college and get to the NFL to make it out the hood and get out of our struggles. But now all you got to do is make it to college and you'll be a millionaire if you're a football player. And that can get you out of your struggles. So like you're saying, Dries, that could have a lot to do with it.
Any of that pressure, worried about getting cut, not all that. Man, they living a life. They getting treated, pampered, all that.
Man, worry about nothing. Yeah, it's different times, man. Different times, man. So it's all right, man. To say what needs to be said, I'm your boy Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel.
It's your boy 2-3 Dries.
And we're going to see y'all next time. We are up out of here, baby.